with main point of this meeting, Dasharo user group, the Dasharo roadmap. I know everyone waiting for that. That's the most important part of this this event, or maybe there are even more important, but that's definitely some interesting stuff will going on here, and some plans will be revealed. Yeah, so if the plan doesn't work, change it, and like we change our plans very often. So that's why I have to tell you that you should not do any investment. Do not put too much bitcoins on the stack, betting if 3MDEP will release something or not release something, because you can lose. So like, don't do this. In terms of history, there are also historical videos for those who watching the Dasharo roadmap first time. I really encourage you to see the old videos. You can just jump to directly to the section when there is roadmap. This is very important because you may not get the context and not understand the format if you first time here. Yeah, so the point is to show you some statistics. I introduced new statistics about planning and execution of Dasharo release binaries. I just want to like simplify a little bit. I did simplification of the diagrams, and also we're trying to drive everything on GitHub milestones. So if you will go to the github.com/Dasharo and you will go to Dasharo issues, then you will go to issues, and to the milestone section, you will find like a long list of the milestones. Most of them I'm presenting here. There is some small desynchronization, but like we're working on that to make it like synchronized between this presentation and what is there. Yeah, so that's the most important information. Okay, that's something that was very interesting to me to create. This is essentially number of Dasharo public releases in time, and on the bottom side you can see that there are quarters like this since third quarter of 2021. There were of course previous releases which we could call Dasharo, but there was no official Dasharo website. There was no way to publishing. So I just like whatever release I found on the Dasharo website, the oldest one, that was the one that I counted. Yeah, and it was in Q3 21. And the black one means that those are Dasharo support package releases. Those are typically for our Dasharo support package customers. And there are also community releases. So there are like, you can see what kind of proportion between dedicated work for customers versus public work, like completely public work for community we have. Yeah, I guess like the proportion is not bad. Yeah, I envision things that it will go more in direction of doing more for commercial customers and delivering less for community. This may happen, but we will do everything to not kind of drown with that. Yeah. So that was there was a record quarter in Q2 2022 where we delivered 12 releases in a quarter. So that means essentially release every week. That was a time. Yeah. Yeah. So the plan for this this quarter is I guess we already released 7 releases this quarter. So we will see how much more we can handle. On average, we release 5 releases per quarter. So this is how it looked like. There's one more number that I would like to get. There is an average delay of Dasharo community release. That's something that I would like to calculate, but I don't have that number right now. That's also interesting slide because it's showing the market segmentation, how much going to each market. And you can see that's like, it can be very interesting. Like when we did this 12 releases, 5 of those go to the desktop. This was, I guess, MSI. In Q2 2022. So this diagram showing that 50% of our releases are essentially for laptops. Then network appliances like around the same like desktops. Workstations is a little bit less, and of course emulation is like one release. There was just one release, so I hope there will be next one. I guess like after this quarter, the next, the Q2, I guess the numbers will go more in direction of network appliance, and I will show you why. Okay, maybe one more slide. This is Dasharo roadmap status overview. So with that slide, of course, it needs way more thinking and way more kind of discussion, which we don't have right now. Maybe we can on VPUB get back to those slides and talk a little bit more about those. But essentially, this slide show how many changes we introduce in every Dasharo user group. Yeah. And those are changes to given states. I essentially created 5 states. Either we adding new release, either we changing a release. So change of the release może maybe, I'm sorry for Polish words, but change of release maybe change of scope or change of delivery date. That's most typical changes of releases. How much is on track? So you see very little is on track. So do not bet your Bitcoins on Dasharo releases. And how much is released? So there's not much released because those are like you see. And of course, those are just community releases. Just to mention, that one does not count for the how to say that does not count for the Dasharo support package releases. Yeah. And I started to remove something from the roadmap. Maybe some of you will be not very happy with that, but it's too much. It's already too much for us. Maybe we can bring those back, which I remove with this announcement, but we will see. We essentially overpromise all the time. Yeah. So yeah, let's go. So in case of emulation roadmap, we were able to release in like I already announced the release of the V01. This release is especially for Dasharo open source firmware validation. We use QEMU emulator to emulate Dasharo UEFI menu and like just walking there and like speeding up validation process. We added some new release for the Q3. Yeah, I guess like this is not very exciting, but probably we will need new version because I see some commits that going to our EDK2 fork for the OVMF payload package. OVMF, I'm sorry, not payload package, but for OVMF, which is like essentially the firmware for the QEMU. And I guess like sooner or later those patches will have to be released in some form that open source firmware validation could be performed on that. Then interesting thing happened with PC engines. We added 2 new releases. So like last Dasharo user group, I mostly speculated about the PC engines APU 2 and APU 6 release. I just had hope that this will work. And of course, like not of course, but like happily, luckily it worked. So I can announce that we even will do more. So there will be PC engines APU 2, 3, 4, and 6 release. It will be Core Boot plus UEFI Dasharo release, version 0.9. And the feature set is publicly available. I will in a second show you how to get there, how to get the subscription where you can get the binaries earlier, or if you want to compile the firmware yourself, you can do it. That's not a problem. Code will be there. But we added 2 more releases. One will be Core Boot plus CBIOS, which essentially will translate to old PC Engine's mainline release. And of course, we have this situation with Core Boot where they changed the versioning scheme to the year and I guess month. So there will be 24.02. There was hotfix which was submitted by Michał Żygowski from 3MDev. This was like RTC bug, which showed on 29th of February. And that was like leap year and all the magic related to that. We were even in some leap year pages. or maybe not we, but Coreboot itself. But it was fixed, and that's why there was hotfix. That's why there is this 0.1. And based on that version, we want to have our own version. That's why there is another 0.1. So there is this crazy version 24.02.01.01. But that's the Dasharo Coreboot plus CBIOS mainline version for APU 2, 3, 4, and 6. And there will be even one more release for PC engines, which will be 4.0.34, which is continuation of legacy version of PC engines releases. So why we even care about those lines? We care about those lines because there are still companies operating devices in the industrial environment using that, and that's on one side that's very good. On other side, of course, they rely on this firmware because they tested this firmware, then they are sure that it will work reliably. That's why they continue using it and don't want to get anything else. They don't care about Dasharo Coreboot plus UEFI. So we also want to address that market. And of course, thanks to those customers, we can do something for the public. So yeah, so if there is anyone from those customers here, or you know those people, those companies, please say thank you to them for doing that. And yeah, or if you know someone who's using PC engines and would be interested in getting this firmware, feel free to recommend 3MDEP and Dasharo to them. So how this will look like? This would be essentially the same business model as with Dasharo entry subscription. So the price for the up to 5 devices for personal use is 41.4 until 1st of April, and then we see is switch to 46. Excuse me. And for business inquiries, of course, if someone has like, I don't know, 500 devices, then I guess like we can go with the price. We can go with lower price, yeah. Excuse me. Of course, like everyone can take the code, compile, and flash if they want, but then we don't provide support and don't provide any warranty related to that. Okay, that was PC engines. We continue our commitment to the Protecti VP4670. So essentially, of course, we're doing for firmware for Protecti, but we would like to do one for which will be available just in our shop behind the Dasharo entry subscription. And what would be different about this firmware would be trench boot support. And I hope Michał will show the demo of that on Zen Developer Summit in June. And yeah, and that's the target date for releasing that. The target date, of course, like last Dasharo user group I presented, it would be, more like Q2 or maybe even Q3. But right now, I'm pretty sure it has to be end of Q2 24. So if anyone is interested in trench boot, in maybe CubesOS on Protecti hardware, or maybe some embedded application which requires trustworthiness, I highly recommend watching this release. Next product. This is very surprising news because this is ancient hardware. This is Intel Bay Trail hardware. I don't know when Bay Trail was released, but this is for sure more than 10 years ago. So yeah, so this is very old hardware, embedded platform. I put that in network appliance because I will not create special embedded appliance or whatever embedded systems, or I don't know, IoT, whatever. But I'm very happy that we were able to secure some margins thanks to some customers who still need support for this very old hardware. And the reference platform for Intel Bay Trail was Minoboard Turbot. I don't know if anyone of you remember, but Minoboard Turbot is the platform on which I learned firmware, open source firmware, because it was small, it was relatively cheap, and former Eclipsium, former Intel team, former, I guess, people related with Xeno, with hacking firmware stuff, used that hardware to deliver some training materials. Based on these training materials, I learned a lot, and thanks to that, I was able to create 3MDev. So yeah, I'm very happy that this will happen. I'm very happy this will be delivered. The plan is to have a release in Q3. The point is to apply patches to 4.11. There is some branch in core boot which was stalled. The platforms were like, it was like forked, and there is this branch still gets some commits, but there is no official backporting or some official support for that. It's just sitting there, and there is some small group of people that apparently still using it. And finally, it's very interesting because there will be ability to have Dasharo Trust Root, and Dasharo Trust Root is like a, I can say like this umbrella term for all the immutable root of trust products, and we will be able to provide support for companies who like immutable root of trust for Intel Trail-based hardware. And of course, this is long-term support commitment from us. Really, like long dead platform still getting core boot releases thanks to Dasharo, and that's why we created Dasharo, and that's the definitive like testament to that, and proof of commitment to that to long-term support. Okay, next one, laptops. So we decided that like we already released the 0.9 heads, core boot plus heads, and you can buy it on Wessel website. But we decided that there will be 2 more releases. So first of all, there will be Dasharo core boot plus heads 0.91, which we're planning for Q3. This is very rough estimate. I don't know if it really will happen in Q3, because it depends how much other projects and other stuff we will have, and you can see that we do not rely on Dasharo roadmap, yeah, because it can change, it can be changed. And there will be also Dasharo core boot plus UEFI 1.8. Also, I'm not sure about this version, but what will be special about those versions would be Dasharo Trust Root support. So you essentially will be able to fuse Dasharo keys. Like we will fuse Dasharo keys, and we will sell devices with Dasharo fused keys. There will be also support for customer keys. So if you would like to have your keys fused on this device, we will provide you this support. And from what I know, the Wessel will also have kind of parallel Nova Custom based offering related to that stuff. Yeah. Then I would like to thank Michał Kopeć for and congratulate him for being able to deliver the port for M700 and 900 Think Center from Lenovo. His patches were merged. Of course, like I didn't talk with Michał if he wants even to do Dasharo entry subscription or Dasharo release. So Michał, if you listen that, I know you may be surprised. But anyway, the point is the code is there. So we probably will consider, if there will be interest, we consider doing this Dasharo entry subscription for this hardware. I don't know if this is like Skylake, KB Lake platform. I don't know if anyone is interested in this kind of tiny device. But very cool. Congratulations to Michał one more time. In case of Optiplex, Optiplex is also on the roadmap of Trench Boot for Zen Developer Summit in June. So there will be Dasharo core boot plus CBIOS version 1.1 delivered in Q2. And the other thing is what is missing on this roadmap is Dell T1650, which I removed from this roadmap because essentially every time I presented roadmap, I just told you that, okay, I have to delay this, I have to delay this, I have to delay this. And I just realized I cannot tell you 4th time I have to delay this. And yeah, I have to delete this. I just have to remove this from the roadmap. That's what I realized. Yeah, we can get back to T1650, but I guess at the point we will have time for getting back, we will probably have better options. Next one, the MSI Z690. The problem with that hardware, of course, we did the release 1.13 on time, but the problem with this hardware is that it's kind of unobtainable right now. It's very hard to get these main boards. That's why we shift our effort into direction of Z790. But there will be one more release. At least we're planning one more release, or maybe even two. Because one release is 1.14, which is planned for Q3, and then we shifted again the community release. I know that we're delaying this all the time, but I hope community release will be simple thing. And since we have some possibility to deliver more value, we still want to do that. In case of Z790, so newer version, we will also be able to release 091, and I'm very happy with that. We're planning 092 for Q3, so the same, I guess, parallel feature set as for Z690. And that's essentially it. And in the same way, we shifted the community release. In case of heads support for MSI, if someone is interested, essentially we're planning to deliver Z690 and Z790 releases for Dasharo core boot plus heads, and I guess development and validation going on is on track. And of course the Z690 was not announced last Dasharo user group. We just realized that it doesn't make sense to not doing the release. We just have to do it, because if there are some users which already have Z690, then they could switch thanks to Dasharo entry subscription. In case of ASRock, unfortunately, I didn't talk with Han Etzer much about that. Last Dasharo user group, we focused on analyzing possibilities of pursuing OpenSeal path, and I thought that we have some agreement. I even have on FOSDEM meeting with AMD Paul Grimes, who was responsible for OpenSeal, and he kind of convinced me to look at it from perspective of the AMD Phoenix, and I'm kind of more likely going into direction of AMD Phoenix based hardware. Especially I'm interested in Orange Pi, which is Orange Pi Neo AMD Phoenix based gaming console, which will be sold with Manjaro. And I hope to meet some people related to this project on FOSS Asia. We will see where this will go. So that's my kind of plan for OpenSeal based AMD platform. Of course, if we will be able to get to some supporting partner agreement, and I talk with multiple parties about that, then we can bring ASRock back and see if we can enable it in scalable way in Dasharo model. Then workstation, another removal. I just removed Asus KGP D16. I just couldn't say again that it would be delayed, because we simply don't have time for that. And I met on FOSDEM Dennis, and he told me that there is some funding from Free Software Foundation Europe, and probably, I don't know if he or some of his friends, I don't know, someone will do the Free Software Foundation Europe sponsored KGP D16 development. I also talked with one scientist, Adrien, over email, and he's kind of, I guess he's doing his PhD, and he's interested in memory initialization, and he would like to contribute to core boot improvements regarding that. But I will get into discussion, and it looks like he don't know the information related to demands of core boot reviewers about the quality and need for rewriting most of the AMD vendor code, old AMD vendor code. By the way, not written by AMD, but this code was low quality, and that's why it was removed. And with it, like a lot of platforms were removed. So it would be very hard to get back to coreboot. There is still probably like best coreboot release in Dasharo repository. So if someone wants to do that, fine, but we don't see like business reason why we should do KGP D16 at this point. There is also still plan for release on Talos 2 on Raptor Computing Systems Talos 2 version, so Dasharo Coreboot plus Heads version 08. But we had to shift this release. We're still discussing with Thierry based on which version of Heads this release should be based. We couldn't agree on the hash of the commit based on which it should be based. And we have some alternative plan how to pursue that. We're still continuing discussion with Thierry. Okay, and finishing server side. I'm not very happy with server side. There is like essentially not much activity of 3M dep in server side. I'm just leaving this as on track, but it's not really on track because there is very little activity about Supermicro X11. We simply don't have time for that. There is also no business related with that area right now. So if nothing will change and I will have to repeat the same story in 3 months, I will just remove that platform. So, and that's it. I guess like I was able to fit in because we have 5 minutes. Yeah, correct or incorrect? Yeah, we have even 10 minutes. Yes, so that's good. That's very good. So I was able to, so it was not so long. Maybe there are some questions. Finally, we have some time for questions.
Paytrail was announced in September 2013.
So it's 11 years, not much more than 10 years.
Yeah, almost the same like Optiplex, like Sandy Bridge, Ivy Bridge was also around 2013.
So it is essentially Atom embedded line of Sandy Bridge.
Yeah, we may say so.
Still alive.
Early, I had difficulties today to find the resources from Intel Portal, like for example the UFI pre-built Redis binaries or EFI object components to build the UFI image for that. That's unobtainium with the old links. So I had a lot of effort done today to locate backup sources of that. So it's alive and dead at the same time.
I already saw that there are a lot of resources. Just go to some backup page. There is some backup page which did check backup of the wiki site. But anyway, I see Pura Vida
Yes.
got question about size footprint of Zarhus. There is
regarding the wiki page. Sorry to interrupt you. Yes, its domain is out-of.bees.
Yeah, that's great domain. Yeah, out of bees. Anyway, about the Zarhus size, it's Yocto. So if you can build it and optimize according to your needs. So if you remove everything, then the footprint will be very small. But it really varies. Like I don't remember we did much of the optimization regarding size because, to be honest, it was like nobody ever requested that. Of course, we want to have as small as possible U-boot, as small as possible kernel. If you want to load fast and we don't need much of peripherals during the boot process. But then someone needs application and whole stack. So that means if you need Go or Python or Rust or C++, then I guess this could be bloated. Yeah. So we can look at the size of the DTS, Dasharo tool suite. I don't know, how big is the DTS? Anyone? Yeah, there is. So yeah, and another question is from Pura Vida about is it optimized for size or speed? I would say neither. If you want optimization for size or speed, you're just talking with us. We can apply this. That's not the purpose of this operating system. The purpose of this operating system and the main feature and main power of this operating system is the fact that we can deliver the root of trust provisioning tools and then chain of trust configuration tools, and we can configure the system in a way that it will preserve those properties delivered from hardware immutable root of trust. So that's the main point of this. We also can leverage the trust zone opti related functionality for secure storage. We can use that for the decryption of the rootfs. We can leverage FTPM application, which is in TE. Of course, like we can question about security of that, and you can be concerned about that. But if you just have this embedded platform, you have to deliver some properties. Then what kind of choice you have? If you have like hundreds, thousands of these devices in the field, not much choice you have to live with whatever hardware you get. Yeah, that's it. So there is no goal of the optimization for size or speed unless customer wants that. Okay, what else? We have 5 minutes more. Demi, is this for ARM only, or it's both? It's both for ARM, x86. We have even power support. We also did RISC-V, so it's like for every architecture. Yocto is can be cross-compiled, and there is no issue with that. Yeah, certainly, Pura Vida, we're talking about megabytes. Like it's like those are small systems. I don't know, Michik, can you check like how big is the DTS right now? So we will just like give some number. How big is the remote testing environment OS? So those are like.
If we decompress the gzip, it is around 1.1 gig.
Oh, you see.
Of
So
the
it's
latest
even not
release.
100 megabytes. It's over a gigabyte. Yeah. But the point is that DTS boots on like requires various drivers. Like we also compiled in like a lot of stuff, which is needed for delivering the firmware, verifying signatures, and all that stuff. We probably could squeeze that and work on like squeezing that, but this is not our goal right now. Yes, Android like bootloader lock and unlock, of course, and that's, I guess, a lot of ARM SoC vendors provide the root of trust, the secure, maybe verified boot based on the Android like mechanism. Yes, true. Like Pura Vida, like you can do a lot with optimization. Yeah. Oh, Christian. Yeah, intra-RAMFS is okay. So that's way different than what Michik said. way different. It's like, yeah. I'm not sure why is this. So
yes,
different?
if we boot over the network, that's true. But if you take the weak.gz, decompress it, then the resulting weak is 1.1 gigs. So
Isn't
for
this
network
like
boot, yeah, that's true.
I don't know
for the
if
network
this is all data or this is like a image of the partitions of or something. I don't know what WIC.
Well, it is probably just, I don't know.
Yeah, many is empty space. Much
you have to assume some FE system partition size, or the boot partition, whatever. I don't know. It's probably 100 megs, and then you have the rootfs, which is the rest. I don't know if this auto-sized or not by Yocto, but it is like slightly over 1 gig for sure.
That's great to know that you root or you root. So uroot, yes, I used uroot in 2019 to kexeczen. Yeah, you can. I guess we can provide kexecing environment. Currently, our like mechanism or distribution of choice for kexecing is heads, and I guess heads is under Linux boot organization. So definitely uroot and heads will have a lot of synergy together. Yeah, I guess like we're starting in 1 minute. So my next presentation is like complete shameless plug. It's like, but there are some maybe interesting products for you, like some maybe yeah, maybe how to not do things. Maybe this presentation is how to not do things.